Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Bread-a-licious. On today's episode, we get a hand at shaping a particular dough called Fougasse. Okay? So, you're gonna need your oven at 460 degrees. We're also introducing a different kind of starter called a pâte ferment. Okay, it's French. So if you ever wonder what's going on with all the different starters and names and why, it's usually a ratio of what their flour to water to yeast is. And in this case, this pâte ferment also contains salt. So although its true salt kills yeast, this is a minuscule amount. It's literally a pinch or a half a teaspoon to a small pinch of yeast. So it's gonna be fine. Let's do this. For your pâte ferment, you're gonna need 4.3 ounces of bread flour, 2.8 ounces of water, a small pinch of yeast, which is already in there, and then I also am doing 0.09 ounces or half a teaspoon of salt, okay? For your bread dough, you're gonna need 11.3 ounces of bread flour, 1.7 ounces of whole wheat flour, 9 ounces of water, 0.2 ounces of salt, a teaspoon, very scant teaspoon of yeast, 0.9 ounces of extra virgin olive oil. Okay, so let's get cooking. So with the pâte ferment, this contains a little bit of salt, which is why it's called a pâte ferment. The little bit of salt doesn't kill the yeast, but it ferments it and has but it's still paste-like. It's not very liquidy. So pâte, a paste, and ferment in French. So that's just that, and like that, we stir it, get all in there, okay. All right, and another thing I want you to notice as we do the close-up on this is that this is not like the biga. It doesn't hold together quite as well. It's kind of thread-like. That's the look you're going for, okay? So you grab your lid or your plastic wrap, just cover it, okay? And then we leave that alone for at least 16 hours, ideally overnight. Next, let's get on to our dough. I have the salt. I have also some rosemary in here. We're doing fougasse today. You can do one with olives. You can do an herb fougasse. You can do one with sun-dried tomatoes. Sky's the limit there also. I'm choosing an herb one because we're gonna drizzle some honey on it to finish. It's a nice little extra dish. Okay, gonna add my water. Okay. Gonna add my olive oil. Now the advantage with olive oil is you can go a little over if you want to in breads, and it doesn't affect the baking too much. It's not quite like water. So it just depends on your EVU. That's short for extra virgin olive oil that you're using. And it depends. All the virgin olive oils out there have a lot of different flavors. So you just kind of have to do what's right for you. That ain't no big deal. Okay, and now that this guy is together, get all my bread. Excellent. All that dough, get my flour out, do the rub to get some of that off of my fingers. And then do the little pat, have fun with it, pat, pat, pat. Gonna grab my scraper. And then I just knead. And you'll need this for about 10 more minutes. But I'll take my other pâte ferment that I have here. Shred it. You'll find that it liquefies, gets really liquidy, and firm, like relaxes a bit. Very incorporative thing. And then, just like the other doughs we've done, we keep forming this until a nice round ball forms. And that's going to take about 8 to 10 minutes, and we'll be right back. So this is our fougasse. Okay, it's puffed up a bit. Excellent. I'm going to do my trifold. This needs to do a bulk fermentation of 2 hours. So I'm at the 1 hour mark, so I'm going to do the trifold that I showed you. Then we'll be back in an hour to shape it. Okay, so we have our fougasse that's rested. Our fougasse is rested. Now we're going to get it into a rough shape. I'm going to grab my handy dandy rolling pin. Now you want a round triangular shape with fougasse, so you can kind of imitate that with the rolling pin a little bit. Kind of stretch it out some, and then kind of push it in that way, push it in that way, push it down that way. Okay, and then if you want a longer triangle, you just kind of flop it. That ain't no big deal. Do one more push that way. This batch is enough for 2 loaves. As you can see, this half I don't hardly have to play with it as much, and it's almost perfect. Just depends how the dough is cut. You can kind of see the dried rosemary in there, which is nice. Next, you're going to want to take a paring knife, and you need to make slits. So I'm doing 3 on each side, and then 2 in the middle. And just so you can see it better, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1 down here, 1 down here. Okay, and then open that up. Sometimes you'll have to help it along with your fingers. Okay, you just get in there. If you have to take your paring knife, just watch your fingers, be safe. Get in there. Okay. You kind of help by stretching it out. And again, kind of stretch it out, help it along, help it along. Sometimes it's easier to do one side at a time. Okay, then I'm gonna stretch, gonna do the middle. This is why we take this guy on its separate episode. It's kind of our introduction to scoring bread. Now you have a few options. I'm using a sharp paring knife, but you can also use the paring knife to draw. And then just have a neat cleaner cut with a razor blade if you want to, but that can be finicky to hold. So this is what I recommend. And these holes seem weird, but as the bread bakes and puffs up, it's fine. It really is. And now we can kind of let this rest and rise, but this hasn't deflated on me too much, so we might be able to keep moving. But we'll give it a few extra minutes and then we'll be right back. Okay, so let's do an introduction to ovens, okay? So the oven's still heating, but I had the oven on. I'm just getting it back up to temp. You put your baking stones in with the oven before you turn it on. This is a very important rule, that the stones rise with the heat of the oven. If you put the stones in a 400 some degree oven or even 300 degree oven, when the stones are cold, the stones can actually crack on you. So for overall stone or hearthstone health, you put the stones in the oven while it's cold, and then you turn it on so that as the oven rises in temperature, so does the stone. Okay? Next, you're gonna want cornmeal. Okay? I recommend white cornmeal so it doesn't get as dark or burnt on you. You also want a nice clear amount on there. So I'm gonna put this on here, but the goal is that, and see, I don't have enough and I can already tell. There we go. You can kind of do a quick, yeah, that'll be good. Now, there are many ways to do bread. You can try to do it by hand and flop it in there. You can use typically a pizza peel, but some of those wooden ones are heavy. I have this guy to get them out of the oven, but sometimes this doesn't cooperate, the metal, it sticks too much. What I have found and why I like this guy is it's a stone cutting board, but I can place my thumb in, I can kind of get in that oven and just kind of do a shimmy to get it on the hot stone. And now it's ready. So the stones have been in there. Technically, they've been heating for at least an hour. Remember, you want to get the oven up to temp. The stones have to be ready to go, and they should have been at that temp for at least 30 minutes to an hour. You want those stones hot all the way through because that helps cook your bread. Now, you got to move fast, so here's what's going to happen. I'm going to put this in. I'm going to do a quick sprinkle, and I'm going to put this next to it. Okay? So, but keep in mind, because this is how fast you have to move. Okay? Then I go again. That's why I have everything ready. With bread, you got to be ready to go. And then without hesitation, I also have about a half cup of water. Then I let that go for 10 minutes. And here's why. Steam has a very important part in baking bread. Okay, so that half a cup of water at the bottom of the oven, I didn't throw it on the stone. So the stone is elevated. So here's the bottom of the oven and the rack where the stone is. The reason we add water is to include steam in the oven, and then you don't open it. So you get your bread in, throw your steam, shut it. The steam helps it get poofy and allows the skin to not form as it heats. This allows it to expand to its full potential. But the steam cannot stay in there. So what you have to do is after 10 minutes, de-steam your oven. For us, that's as simple as opening the door, stand away from it. I'll show you how to do that. But this way, a nice thing forms without it developing a skin. We'll de-steam it because if there's too much steam, it will color too fast before it bakes on the interior. Okay? So we're gonna wait 10 minutes. I'll show you how to de-steam and we'll be right back. So now that our 10 minutes have gone by, I'm gonna step and get my face away from the oven. I'm going to vent it by just letting it open. A few seconds. All right, cool. And then I close it. Fougasse is looking nice. I'm gonna set a timer for another 6 minutes and we'll check it. And then we'll be right back. Okay, so at this point, if you're starting to smell the bread in your kitchen, chances are it's done. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, and I'm gonna pull out a fancy tool, all right, because I'm bougie like that. But that is Fougasse. And then, but if you don't have one of those, you can also use this. The note, okay, is I, sprinkled it with some water, then kind of dried it, but at least it's semi-hydrated, so when it touches the hot stone, it doesn't split. Remember, it's bamboo. You gotta be careful, maybe have the pot holder to help you, but that's ready. Okay. Notice. Ooh, that is good. A little darkness is okay, but that is our Fougasse. Okay. It's a wonderful bread. I'm gonna let it cool before it hits the cutting board. But that's it. A nice, beautifully shaped bread. Now, I do 2 lines in the center. I don't do a line all the way down, but that's the typical Fougasse style. You're welcome to do what you want. If you want to serve it hot, you're welcome to. Right there on the cutting board. I like to use honey bear honey for this. When you're using these things, it goes back to the salt, it goes back to the balsamic vinegar we've done in past episodes. You just want to have good quality ingredients when you have something like this. And when you get the honey on there, when it's hot, it drizzles and it's ready to go. And you can drizzle it with anything. I like the honey for this. But if you want to do your own little vinaigrette with a sun-dried tomato Fougasse, or maybe you want to do a nice herb oil with an olive Fougasse, that is welcome, and you're welcome to do that. But that concludes this episode of Bread-a-licious. Get your eat on, y'all. Have a great evening.